at this. Another misty day on the Tumut, and now we're at the junction of the Murrumbidgee.
Hey Sean.
That's my pet sheep that he's talking to on the other side of the river.
Yeah. Well, bloody miserable night, I tell you.
It is nice. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Just misty. And
So it rains on the inside of the tent and the line of the tent. It's fog. You get out, go and have a slash in the middle of the night, and then you've got to grope around in the darkness to hope you find it again. No, good night. Good night.
no rain.
Yeah, that's the only plus I have to say with this weather. But fantastic. What about the kangaroo this morning?
Yeah, that was pretty exciting.
We were sitting down here having a bit of scran, and there's a sort of a splash, and the fisherman in me says, oh, I wonder what that was, you know, breaking water in the river. Well, there's a heaving great kangaroo decided to run across the river. And by the time I got my camera from somewhere and realised the lens was locked and mucked about, I managed to get a couple of photos of a head charging across the river, but it was a kangaroo.
I got a little bit of a video of what looks like a ball of something floating down the river, but it is a kangaroo's head.
I had a sense that as soon as it got downwind of Bruce's muesli mix or something really healthy, it just panicked and ran across the river. But anyway, that was wonderful.
It was actually running on the water, because there's a little sandbar where the Tumut joins the Murrumbidgee, and it swam to that and then was bounding, what looked like it was bounding on top of the water.
Pretty good.
Yep.
So today has to be a real improvement on yesterday. Yesterday was great, very exciting. There was one moment where basically it was critical. It was all over. The boat was pushed up against a tree. We run into the tree, and then it was pushed up against, because we were out of control.
We have got video footage of
the
the
whole
camera
thing
being
is
taken
just
out.
disgraceful. We're getting pushed up, and the river's just pushing against here. You know, Ted's up like a cormorant on the side of the inside of the boat to stop it pushing this way, and I'm murmuring to myself and worrying where my worry beads are down this end. And the flow's coming this, there's just no way out of it. How we got into it was,
Stupidity.
well, not really. I mean, how much thought can you put into suicide? I mean, we had to go. We couldn't go back. Couldn't go, and I've done this great. You ready, Ted? I've done this like the great shush. You right? Go, whoop, and went straight into the trees. It was bloody ridiculous.
Took the camera out.
But we did actually manage to describe. We managed to sort of back out and in and face upstream, and then managed to just simply paddle out and sort of crawl across the river, which is okay.
Yeah, we got out, and we got out dry.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's one of those places not in hindsight, but when you were there, you realise there's all these limbs of these willows coming out like them going under the water, and then there's flood water. They're just like teeth. Basically, you go under those willows, and that's where you end up with your gear and you. And if you're lucky enough to get off, mate, it was the place not to be. Anyway, we got out of that.
And we saw, there was a couple of wombats, one with child, one was sitting on his doorstep just looking out.
Actually, a child wombat.
A child wombat, yeah. Yes, did I say it was a child?
I thought you were talking about the one with child.
Oh, right. Well, it was with child.
But the other one was a child. It was a baby wombat.
Just poking. It was sitting on its doorstep, just looking out the river, contemplating what to do about the day. And suddenly this canoe went past, and it bolted back into its little hole in the bank.
So
there were some exciting waves.
Yeah, it was pretty good, actually.
We didn't feel the earthquake that was down in Victoria, but we did get the waves.
Those people who'd been on a kayak, you might have had some hope in a lot of the places we go. But a Canadian is far more old school, and I think far lovelier, because you get to carry oversized cups and things like that,
And if you're in the front, you get the water coming over the bow and splashing.
But it is pretty old school. They've come a long way since the I've got to get this right, North American or native North American someone. You're not allowed to say Indians,
right?
Because that somehow.
You're talking about their birch bark
about
canoes.
the birch bark canoe. The chap sort of carved out of the wilderness, and we copied all over the world. But again, wonderful day, wonderful river, very different. And now we've got the great green, greasy Murrumbidgee, which looks fantastic actually. It's still clear, relatively clear. You can hold a paddle a metre under the water and still see the end of it if you're not touching the bottom.
It's got overnight. It's gone down about 30 or 40 centimetres, so there's a lot less water than when we arrived here yesterday.
So I'm really glad we're not. Yeah. the Tumut part.
Anyway, today's our last day for this stage. We should be in Gundagai by afternoon,
Having a hot shower and a rum.
and then we've got to go up and pick our other car up from Tumut.
Yep.
And that'll be this stage of the trip done.
It will be. It'll be great.
Well done, Ted.
No worries, mate. And it'll all be all right.
That's
It'll
right.
all be okay, mate.
It
You
will-
hold the pink thing.
The pink thing doesn't work anymore.